Hopefully we're pulling. Yep, we're pulling audio. It works. It works first time. Like I scored podcast yesterday in a different area recording this time, just because I can, really, right now. And yeah, it's the off season for us now. Pro Bowl tonight, last night I think. It was tonight or last night? I know last night was NHL. Tonight's NFL, pretty sure. I don't remember. All I know is both skills challenges already happened for both, and the NHL All-Star Game's over, which pulled most of my attention the last 2 days. But yeah, Pro Bowl this weekend and Super Bowl next weekend. That's going to be very exciting. Can't wait for that because it's Rams Cincy. I'm going to go over that at some point. Well, that's why I hate having my phone anywhere in my area, because I try to pull up a baseline or my baseline for these and get sidetracked. But the contracts, because we have decisions on certain guys, and it's right now we're not in a great spot. There's many of them in the next year, but alright, there we go. At least it's loading a lot faster than it was yesterday, because yesterday it was throwing a tantrum. I'm like, come on, people. But expiring this year. Why? Hold on. I love when Spot Track doesn't want to give me certain whatever it is. It doesn't want to give me certain contracts. Of course. So your free agency class is Anthony Harris, Derek Barnett, Steven Nelson, Ryan Kerrigan, Rodney McLeod, Richard Rogers, Hassan Ridgway, Jordan Howard, Boston Scott, Alex Singleton, Greg Ward, Jason Krum, Jannard Avery, Andre Chachiri, and Nate Herbig. Richard Rogers already got his contract. He's back here. I'm wondering what we're going to see, because you got to make a decision on Anthony Harris or Rodney or both, maybe. It depends. You're going to have to make a decision on Derek Barnett. You're going to have to make a decision on Steven Nelson, Hassan Ridgway, Jordan Howard, Boston Scott, Alex Singleton, Greg Ward, Jannard Avery, and Nate Herbig. Chachiri, I guarantee I'm butchering this every time. He could come back just as like, yeah, we'll keep you around, but you're probably not going to make the roster kind of guy. Jason Krum, he's buried in the depth chart. I think they'll let him walk. Ward, it's kind of it depends on what they do in the draft, too. If they think they can pull someone late in the draft, want to get someone who is more of a veteran in free agency, you'll probably see him walk. Derek Barnett, we all hope he walks, and he should be walking. Ryan Kerrigan, same thing. We all hope he walks, but for different reasons. Derek Barnett is just a complete bust. Let him walk. I don't even want him anywhere near the team. Ryan Kerrigan, it's just he's getting to the point where he's getting old and he wasn't producing the best in his time here. I'm not paying him another $2.5 million and be a role player when we don't need to. We can get a young guy to do just enough, or to do the bare minimum too. Ryan, like I said earlier, decision on Rodney or Harris or both or neither. Richard Rogers is already back. Hassan Ridgway, they'll probably keep around for interior depth on the defensive line right now until they figure out a plan. He is 28 though, which depends on how you look at it. Howard and Scott. Scott's a special case. I don't think they bring him back if they have somebody else in mind to go get. Howard, it's a matter of, well, he's your only power back. He's probably coming back. Minimum contract. Singleton, there's worse options. They'll give him like a couple million at most. Gennard Avery, let him walk. Let him walk. I don't like Gennard Avery. It's something I've stated for a while. I don't think we need him. He's done nothing since that trade, really. He's had a couple big games, but other than that, I'm not going to get a guy who's going to have like 5 big games a year and then be silent for the rest of the year. I'd rather get a guy that is going to actually show up to games, and Gennard Avery came from a 3-4 linebacker. Still applies. And then Herbig's obviously going to come back with the retirement of Brandon Brooks. There's going to be some shifting on the line potentially. Yeah. It'll be interesting this year with that class. And looking at current free agents, and this is your speculation before re-signing, because you're not going to see we're not going to know who's actually in free agency officially until free agency actually hits. So this is all based on just like speculation and kind of, well, this guy looks interesting if he's not re-signed. So that the if is going to come in with every pick. But right now you've got, let's go by position because I don't. This phone doesn't like me. Wide receiver. At wide receiver, you've got a couple options potentially. I mean, if you want a vet guy, a lot of people like Allen Robinson. You could go Chris Godwin if we're willing to pay the money. Adams is probably going with Rodgers, so I think he's kind of out of the question. Plus, he's going to want big money. You could go Will Fuller for that veteran option. T.Y. A.J. Green, Emmanuel Sanders. Although I think Sanders might stay in Buffalo. Sammy Watkins can be a vet option. Mike Williams. I don't like Mike Williams. A lot of people do. I like Mike Williams as a player, but he's very inconsistent. I'm not bringing him here with what he's going to want. He's very inconsistent. And he needs that number 1 alongside him to help. Zay Jones can be a young option. Deshaun can come back and be a veteran option, although I don't think we're going to have that happen again. Josh Reynolds could always be someone you pick up, just as like a filling guy for now. Christian Kirk, young option, but I think he stays in Arizona. If not, it's worth a try. And maybe someone like a James Washington, young receiver. Yeah, that's about all I got for receivers. Or maybe an Alan Lazard, a nice role player, or Braxton Berrios, because he can be a decent piece. Then, if we really needed to, and wanted to go for a guard option on the right side, I could see the guys I just kind of know age off the top of my head, roughly. There's not really anybody in the guard market that I'd really want. But you never know. At defensive end or edge, defensive end. You could get. No, Addison's too old. Let's say, how old's Ogba? He is 28. All right. To pull in if he doesn't stay with Miami, that could be a good pickup for the defensive ends. I would like that. I would not be too mad at that. Again, not anybody that really sticks out in this market right now compared to a draft. Not really anybody sticking up to me. Nobody's name really jumps off the paper at the current moment. A linebacker, though, you could get. Alright, yep. Scrolling down the list again. I'm gonna do this. Sorry about the snowmobile if you can hear it. They like to go by occasionally. Could be a fill-in on the outside. He'd come back home. As we like to joke, Nick Vigil could be a decent pickup for that linebacking core. Maybe get someone like a Ben Niemann. Jordan Evans could be a decent pickup. Who else? Again, not anyone that really sticks out to me right now that I go, yup, could be an option. But that's why I turn my volume down whenever I record. I hate the ads on Spa Track because they do that every time. There's certain takes that you won't see just because that'll happen. I've had that happen before. It's annoying. I'm just gonna leave it. If I get copyrighted, I edit it out. Really don't care. At corner, could go for maybe a J.C. Jackson's a name I've heard thrown around. Casey Hayward, I've heard in certain circles. Eli Apple, but I don't think he's going to leave Cincinnati after the year he's had. I'd be fine with that. Also, Douglas, if he leaves Green Bay, I would take that. Put him with a good roster again. And I don't know, Grayland Arnold. Could get Grayland Arnold. I mean, it's better than not really. Just kind of a guy to bring in for familiarity. And at safety, you could go for. Honestly, I'd bring back Rodney, and then you could shoot for someone like Kareem Jackson or. Maybe a Jabril Peppers if he leaves New York. Probably not. Jesse Bates wouldn't leave Cincy, but if he would, I'd give that a look. Nope, definitely wouldn't look on Andrew Adams. I would not take flyer on that one. Yeah, there's definitely some guys that you can really look for in that free agency class that could be brought in to upgrade some certain positions, but at this point, I don't know with this roster. This roster seems iffy with me a little at times. There's times where you can't really gauge this roster, especially because with how coaching, it's not Doug Peterson anymore and Jim Schwartz, but there's still times, just because we have coach going into his second year, that there's some uncertainty around the roster, even if they did good. It is what it is. So, yeah, the Super Bowl. I guess that's going to take over probably the remainder of the podcast, but this is going to be an interesting one because now looking at it, you've got loaded, and it's going to be very interesting how they play, because it's on the other side with Joe Cool, and I'm surprised this Bengals roster's gotten as far as it has, because they're really reliant on Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd's had all year. I know he's had a player. You've had another guy here and there who's kind of played a role on that offense. Joe Mixon's played a nice role. Kerrigan's played a nice role behind him when Mixon's had some problems or has been sitting. That I don't I hope I'm thinking of the right team. Or I'm hoping I'm thinking of the right player. But and that defense is good, especially for what they've got. Trey Hendrickson's great. Bates is doing well. Eli Apple stepped up in the playoffs. But you're playing the Rams. Rams are loaded. You got guys like Van Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee, Cam Akers is back. Darrell Henderson's a great back. Sony Michel's a great back. Matthew Stafford has been there, done that. He's been here a long time. He hasn't gotten there in the playoffs, but this is his 1 year to finally prove himself and then maybe ride off into the sunset. And he's going to want that. With guys like Aaron Donald, who will feast all day. And they got Von Miller. Forget about OBJ. Although, I'm glad I do, because I don't like remembering OBJ. But they've got a good defense, too. It's what this game's really going to come down to is who's the better defense. And that's a tough question to answer. But we will definitely see on that one next week. I can guarantee you the whole football world's going to tune into that one. Because I know I sure am. And realistically, I'm just looking at a Rams win. I think the Rams have enough to win. And I can be happy that they won because at least it's not the Buccaneers with Tom Brady or the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. Jackson Mahomes and Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes' fiance are not good people. I don't think anybody in the football world can really tolerate them. And if you can pretty much tolerate anybody. Because a lot of us can't. I would love to see first round exits for a long time if those two continue to do what they do. Like when Jackson Mahomes danced on Sean Taylor's memorial, which was one of the biggest disgraces you could ever pull in the football world. And he deserves all ridicule he got. Because it's like the logo. When you retire or when you make a memorial to someone, that's sacred. You mess with it, you pay the price. And at least we got to see the Chiefs lose. Not because I don't like the Chiefs or don't like Patrick Mahomes, but the people he surrounded himself with, not many people like, and that's why a lot of us are happy they lost. Although they should have lost to the Bills, but I don't want to get started on that, just like I don't want to get started about the goalie interference call that should have made the game 3-3 against the Wild. But, you know what? I'll talk about it for a minute. Really? Coin toss. It really should be both teams get an opportunity. I don't care. Yeah, they're an NFL defense, but at the same time, it's about giving guys the same opportunity. Because a 50-50 chance, I mean, all it takes is one mistake for you to lose that game. At least when you give both sides an opportunity, it gives a chance, and it's not like you cost yourself your game and potentially your future in your season. And I don't know, I've been advocating for this for a long time. Go to college rules, but adjust them. Make them go from at least a 50. Make it like 2 or 3 play periods, and then go for 2 points. One or just 2 points. Keep going for it. Because I think college should go to at least 2. Because I think one drive from 25 each and then 2 points is annoying, and I'd rather do 2 or 3. Because I like it better that way. I like it better with more play. And I get shorten the game a little. But overtimes usually don't last that long. Unlike the Penn State game. That was the week of the Notre Dame USC game. That was back in October. When it went to 9 overtimes. That was the exception, not the rule. But I'm not going to rant about the overtime rule, or else that's a whole other conversation. Anyways, I'm going to end it there. And glad I could get a podcast done. And I'll see you guys in the week. Actually, I got to do a recap for the Comets game. I'll see you later.